Hola, ¿cómo está? Bien, bien, ¿y tú? ¿Y tú? That's about the extent of the Spanish y'all gonna get from me tonight. I'm not going that much deeper into the Spanish. So y'all might as well enjoy that while y'all can, because that's all you're getting from me this week. I'm not going too deep into it. Um, Welcome to episode 34 of Sucio Sports. I'm Jermaine. Wait. Welcome to episode 34 of Sucio Sports, presented by. Wait a minute. Presented by Gel Blasters. It's still over my left shoulder, but not as over my left shoulder right now. We're waiting for Keyz to join, so that way it could be like really over my left shoulder, so I won't feel weird about pointing and stuff. But the last week was the birthday edition because it was Key's birthday. So last week was not a normal episode. It was more of a party friendly family atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? We was just kicking it with the fam and the friends and whatnot, and just wanted to celebrate my brother last week for his birthday. Speaking of, bang!
Come, chameleon. Come and go. Come and go. I'm a huge Boy George fan, yo. Pause.
Bro,
Niggas wouldn't even know that about me.
You came on singing that, bro. That brought back memories.
Niggas wouldn't even know that about me, bro. I'm a huge Boy George fan, yo.
His that brought back memories, dog. Like for real, for real.
What was the band? The Culture Club or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that, man. Yeah. What's up, Drake?
Yeah, bro. I'm a huge Boy George fan, man.
Yeah, bro. Timeless. It was for me back then. It was Boy George, Hall and Oates. I'm trying to think of what other like white bands and music I used to listen to back then. Shit. I'm trying, bro. As we keep going, I'm gonna think, but like, that's yours or that's mine?
No, that's mine. That's a dishwasher. It's gonna bother me.
Look,
when you don't have a room, it's crazy.
Mine make the same noise.
Yeah,
it's done. Like right outside. It's like the kitchen is like right outside that door. So it's like I'm thinking I'm tripping because the power had blinked out earlier when it was storming and stuff. And I realized
y'all still getting like bad storms and stuff there.
Bro, the shit happened today. Damn. The shit happened today, bro. Like I didn't even think it was gonna rain that bad. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was gonna be later on in the afternoon. It did the same shit it did like last week or week before last or whatever, where it looked like it's gonna rain in the afternoon. It just comes early afternoon, like out of nowhere. Cause I'm sitting there at my desk and I look, I'm like, why is it so dark in my office? I'm thinking I had my light off in my office. No, my light was on. It was that dark outside. That shit threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, like this don't even make sense. But when I looked out there, I realized, oh, it's just storming early. That's all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to storm here in a little while for real. Well, at least that's what the weather said.
Yeah. But like it be like that sometimes. And I didn't think the power was gonna blink out though, because it wasn't like that bad. Mm-hmm. But I realized that once I saw the what's up, fellas? Backstage brawl in the building too. When I walked inside and I saw the microwave and the oven had the time messed up or whatever, I was like, oh, here we go again. So I got to reset the time on the oven, the microwave, and let me tell you what's really crazy. The power blinks out. The thermostat downstairs, time and date goes off. Nothing happens to the one upstairs. I have no idea why. It's weird, but that's just how it be. But these houses weird, and I don't know how they build them and wire them and stuff like that. Like, I just be like, whatever. But we here, episode 34, presented by Gel Blasters.
It's our Shaq episode.
There we go. I gotta remember the
who else was 34? It's our
The Dream, Elijah one.
Sorry, Olajuwon. It's a lot of 34s, man. It's a lot of 34s. Olajuwon episode.
Hmm?
Not Gale Sayers. What's his name for the Bears, the running back?
Walter
Walter
Payton.
Payton. Saw Walter Payton episode.
Bro, how am I forgetting fucking right here in Texas, Nolan Ryan and Earl Campbell?
I was thinking Earl Campbell, but for some reason I thought he was 32. I don't know
Bro,
why.
I met
he
Earl
was on my
Campbell.
head before I was thinking Walter Payton, but I was like, nah, he's 32. I was like, no. But you're right. Okay. So I was there.
Yeah, I met him before, bro, and two things like bothered, like kind of shook me about what's up, D?
What's up, D? D don't never show up.
Why you ain't here? Hold up, we just gonna go ahead.
Yeah, we might. We gonna. Where Jeff at? We just gonna.
RJ always tripping.
Yeah.
I listened to this earlier when they told me to, because I was like, hold on.
You forgot I hit that bitch before she was your bitch. Even while you was with her, couldn't give her no dick. When you was getting off, I was leaving your crib, taking shits on your toilet, playing with your kids. Like, tell your bitch to look at me while I'm speaking.
Hey, shout out to B and Jeff. Real talk.
Yo, shout out to the family, yo. Like that ass. Like they did some big shit today. They joined the ranks of homeowners.
Big grown people shit today.
Big grown people, bro. I know what this feeling feel like. I just did it myself a couple months ago, as you see. But shout out to the family, yo. They just did some big shit. They just bought a house.
Homeowners.
They are home. I'm proud of them. Dead ass.
Homeowners, nigga.
This when you know you together forever. Like, you know what I mean? You put your names. Well, yeah, you together forever. You put your names on that. Like, look, that's why I kind of looked at you too.
Wait, but look, hold up, time out. See, this is the thing. It's her name on it. And his name on it. But when it was me, it was just my name on it.
Oh,
so it ended up how it's supposed to end up anyway.
Hey, that's all that matters. Look who kept the house.
Hey, R.I.P. Trey. I'm forever throwing Trey hands now. That's even more like I do it even more now.
That's definitely huge shit, especially like us knowing like their story and everything. Like that ass, I'm hyped for them, yo. I know they about to be turning that motherfucker. Like,
bruh, that's
crazy.
why like when they said it earlier, I was like, hey, we changed the intro to the show tonight or what? What we doing? So Jeff said, play this. D was like, yeah, play that.
Bro, I did the opposite of what you do. You be like, nah, I don't want to hear it until show. I'm like, nah, it's Sada, baby. I need to know what the hell going on. I know how I go with him. And this is exactly what the fuck I thought. It cranked though.
Bro, like you know, I like to give my live reaction right on the show. So.
Nah, your reaction with them first like 4 lines was how mine was. I'm in the crib like, oh shit. But I've heard worse from him, so it's like that wasn't bad.
Okay.
That wasn't bad for me, but I still was like, damn,
yeah,
you came on that one. Okay.
Look, that's what D said. As soon as I was like, without my face reacted, she was like, hey, relax.
I believe that's y'all's song too. I really do. I really believe y'all either be in a car or the crib, crunk as hell to this shit.
That sounds
or the gym.
Though, like for real. Like definitely. For real. That definitely sounds like something they would vibe out to.
Nah, but once again, congrats to y'all for real. Like that ass. That's a major accomplishment. That's when you know you're growing up right there, man. You buying houses. You ain't renting no more. You buying houses. It's your shit.
Bruh, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? When you ain't got to worry about, like, look, if I do this, will I get my deposit back? You know what I'm saying? Bruh, that is a great feeling.
I mean, we'll talk about it on the side. Make sure y'all ain't got no HOA, yo. I'm dealing with that shit now, and HOAs is the fucking worst. That shit is well, it's cool too, unless you got like them neighbors that just do too fucking much.
I think I'm gonna have to fight with mine because I already know what they probably gonna say. They probably gonna say, even though the boards of the back fence face their property, the green space behind the house or whatever, they're gonna say because they have that other fence, they're not obligated to pay to replace or fix it or whatever. I already know that's probably what they're gonna say. So I'm just like ready for a fight. But you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Oh, they say they'll have no HOA. Cool. I'm happy for
Turn that
y'all.
up. Hey,
Real
turn
quick.
that shit the fuck up.
Because look here. They have the benefits,
Heaven, shut the fuck up.
but they have more than what this nigga said. This nigga here always saying some shit.
It's always tapping. It's always fucking tapping.
But nah, like the little, like what pissed me off, the rec center up the street, they took off the basketball court because they said, oh, it was this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, just say what the fuck y'all really want to say. Y'all didn't want a whole bunch of niggas and stuff hanging around playing basketball no more.
That's
so
usually what happens.
To take the basketball court out. Okay, so what you gonna do with that space? Well, they created like a little splash pad, another like splash pad water park or some shit, and then
that's lit. I like that.
Doing like a they actually put the fucking walking trail finally around the lake over there, and some other stuff like that. And I think they put up I think on the other side, from the opposite end from where the basketball court, I think it's like a volleyball, little beach volleyball thing. It's something else over there. I can't remember what it is.
No, that's fine. I like that though. I mean, if you're gonna take the basketball courts away, you gotta add in some fire shit. So
right. So I'm like, okay, what y'all gonna do with this since y'all took the court away? And so they added stuff on both sides and put the walking trail around the lake. I'm like, okay, you know what? I could deal with that.
Yeah, I love taking the kids to the splash pads. They actually are building one right next to us, like a huge park that's gonna have splash pads and skate park. It's a really huge park.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's gonna be lit. All I know is my property value going up. That's all I care about.
when they took away the 4-way stop sign and put a whole fucking stoplight intersection right there on the corner, I was like, yes.
Hey, bro, yes. I know what. Look, we were just talking about this. I know in the next, like, with everything they about to build where we live at, because where we live at, they building up this area. So, like, our townhomes and where we live at were the first ones, and then like they building like 2 other sets of townhomes, the park, a Wawa, a McDonald's. It's like a bunch of shit they about to build on this road right here. Our shit at least going with. We about 3 something now. This shit at least gonna be 5, 6 in the next 4 years.
Easy.
On top of the extra shit I'm about to add on. So yeah. About to get all this bread.
Look, when we first moved out here, 2018, they already had the big town center on either side of the freeway. But since then, they finished off more of the strip centers in and around the big town shopping center on both sides. They've started building some more neighborhoods. They finished that high school down the road. It's like a bunch of stuff that they're doing. Now, the kids' school, where Maddie and them just graduated from, they're adding on to the school. And some of that farmland directly across the street from the school, I think they're about to develop that into some more housing or something too. So it's like, it's all kind of stuff going on around here still. And the crazy part is they're not even done with all the building and expanding that they could do, because like they're like on the other side of the intersection right there by the house, like it's still only 2 lanes. They still can expand that to make it 4 lanes instead of just 2. And I think they're going to wait until they start building up some more of those neighborhoods down on that end before they do it. Because they just widened this part of the street to make it 4 lanes instead of 2 lanes. And so I know on the other side of that intersection, once they start building some more down there, they'll probably do it again. So I'm just glad that they got my section done and we can be over and done with all that. The only thing about the building is like buying in an area like that, like where y'all at, because they still build, is like the traffic and the construction and stuff.
That's the only thing I've hated about even here, because when we moved here, they still had 1, 2, 3, 4. They still had 4 other buildings that they were doing when we moved here. So like it was that construction too, because we've been here since December. So they just finished the last building like a month ago, but they still got to repave the roads, from the heavy trucks coming in, like messing up the
Yeah.
road, and they're finishing up the pond over by the mailboxes. So once they're done with the pond in the road, our like where we live at is done. They should be done with the park about the same time, but they just started the construction on the set of townhomes that's down the street from the park. The other townhomes, they've already pretty much got like 3 or 4. So like you said, it's a lot of traffic to the like left, right of us.
Yeah.
Everything to the left is clear, but to the right of us, it's about to be crazy. So
Bro,
it's worth it though in the long.
And it does. And I'll never forget, before we even moved out here, it was about a couple years before we moved out here. We came to visit my ex-wife. She had some friends that stayed out here, and we came to hang out with them. Bro, from the time we exited the freeway till we got to her house, it took us like 20 or so minutes because it was so much traffic with all the construction and stuff.
Because they build it even now, like they're building up Houston crazy. It's like they want people to move. From what I've been seeing, like they're building up so much of Houston, and they want people to move to Houston. Like that's like the one place in Texas that everybody is moving to right now.
It's honestly,
it's an influencer town now. From what I'm seeing, like there's a lot of like YouTube influencers, couples that are moving to Houston. It's almost like they're giving them money to move to Houston.
Well, the other thing is that Texas doesn't have state income tax.
That's why I want to move there.
So not only do you have no state income tax, the property values are much better here. So you get way more house for your money here. That's another reason why, like, Apple and there was another big, huge tech company years ago that moved a lot of their stuff here or expanded their stuff here. Tesla's building stuff out here. There's a bunch of them that's like moving out here. Joe Rogan moved his podcast out here. So like there's a lot of
who in the hell moving to Denver? Ain't nobody going to Denver. Who going to Denver?
Look,
who the hell going to Denver?
Bruh, let me tell you something about moving to Denver, right? So when I went up there a couple years ago for my cousin's wedding, I was just like, let me entertain myself and see what the housing market is out here, right? So the first thing I did, I looked up, okay, how much did I pay for my house? And how much could I buy in Denver? For what I paid for my house, what I get up there is basically like a shoebox. If I want to live in a house my size, like the specs of my house, rooms, square footage, and whatnot, I need to be working for like the NBA or somebody. Like, bro, that's just the difference in the housing market between here and there. Like, can't do it. You right, Dre. No state income taxes usually mean higher prices in other forms. Uncle Sam will get his money one way or another. Our property taxes are ridiculous. I will tell you that. Because you pay one to the school district in your area, and then you pay the other one to the local government or county or whatever. So it's like it's two different property taxes that make up your property tax. So it is what it is. I saw a client one time. This was back when I was still a technician. She was complaining about her property taxes. Bro, when this lady showed me her property tax bill, I was like, that is somebody's yearly salary that you pay in property taxes. We're not talking about like a little claim on some insurance, bro. We talking about every year they pay somebody and it was a decent salary at that time in property taxes. Mind you, this was the same lady they have a room in their house dedicated to Asia because they love traveling there. So when they go there and they buy antiques and different stuff, they put it in their Asia room. And the husband has like a train room because he's into like the model trains and stuff. Bro, this lady paid me with an American Express black card that looked like somebody's food stamp card that had been used like 3 million times. That's how old and worn out her black card was. Like it had like you could barely see like some of the numbers and letters on it. It was so jacked up. But that's that kind of money like them people had. So it was. I mean, you got different people living different lives, and they all within the same little radius, you know, and that's what be really crazy to me about some of this stuff. But man, so I guess my week was cool. It was pretty chill. Um Uneventful. In a good way though.
Yeah.
In a good way.
No, definitely in a good way. Especially like nothing crazy happens. You know, ain't everybody's still here. Nobody hurt. It's definitely. Trying to think. I've had a good week. I've had a great week. I ain't ready to talk about it just yet, you know. But I've had a great week. Very great. Very emotional.
Yes.
Very emotional week. I'll say
Yes.
that. Like my brother's birthday being Monday.
Yeah, it bro. The thing is, man, like I knew that was coming and everything, and I was just like, let me try to make sure Keyz has a good birthday so he can at least go into his weekend and be prepared for Monday.
Yeah, and it was crazy because like what happened, I again not ready to tell everybody just
right,
yet, but it's like it was crazy because you know, like I knew it was gonna be somewhere in between mine and his. I didn't know it was gonna be on his, bro. That shit fucked me up, dog. I ain't even gonna lie. Like when y'all found out when I eventually like share with the world what I'm talking about, like, yeah, that shit fucked me up, bro. I'm about to cry now again. But yeah, that shit fucked me up, dog.
No,
I promise you I've cried like every day. Like because it was one of them things, like, bro, I really feel like it's one of them times where you feel like there was a true angel making moves and they guided this. Like I really feel like there was a true angel guiding this entire process. So like all the way up, literally all the way to the end, like he guided this whole process. So like, it's a beautiful thing, man.
I felt that because like I said, when you told me, it brought back memories of my experience in a similar situation. And I was just like, that's it. That like as soon as you said it, like it hit me, and I was like, oh shit, this is just like such and such. So like when I said, bro, I know exactly what you talk about. I know exactly how you feeling. I'm glad you told me. Let me tell you why. And then you was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, we in the same boat, dog. We in the same boat. Same boat. So it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just something that you don't really, you know, you're not expecting. It catches you off guard, but at the same time, it's like I'm glad it happened
out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like you can't plan that. You can't. That's literally something you cannot plan at all. So
right, and it's something when it happens, you just have to be like you said, you can see it coming and you kind of try to plan for it, but until it's actually there and it happens, you don't really know how you're gonna react to it. And so it's like, oh shit. But yeah, man, that was dope. And then hearing from D and Jeff earlier and shit, like,
yeah, man, it's always beautiful when you know the group do big things. You know, Big Dog Sloan on his way out to Oakland. You know,
man,
him and wifey got their situation together out there, so that's fire. Moving from one dope area to another dope area, one dope opportunity to another. Exactly. Like everybody around us winning right now, man. So it's beautiful for real.
It really is, and it really makes you feel good when you see your people winning. And you see, like, you know what I'm saying? Like people that you really do life with, you know, no matter how far apart we may be or whatever, it's like it feels good to have a group of dope people that's not just, you know, creating magic together, producing content, but also like, you know what I'm saying? Like just helping each other through just life, day-to-day life.
Yeah,
Because
no, that's
it
a
ain't
fact.
easy out here for nobody. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying? Some people just have it easier than others, is what we'll say. But
we all, bro. Like I think this last week has really shown. Like we all going through shit. Like
all
good,
of us,
like good, bad, no matter what. Like we all,
all of us.
nobody's perfect, nobody life perfect. But you know what I mean? We move and shake and make it move, you know what I mean? Make it do what we need to do. So like,
Exactly. And it's cool to have people that's not only gonna check you if you're on some bullshit, but also like help you up and carry your hand along with you. Like, nah, we got you. Or,
yeah,
if you
like I
need
say,
that
we
push,
all nobody's perfect. We all gonna make mistakes. We
we
all
all
fuck up.
fuck up. We all ain't
Fuck up
no,
I fuck up
all
every
fuck
day.
up.
Every day. So
All fuck up. And it's like, but the thing is like, do you have people there that's gonna support you through it and help you get through to the other side of that? And that's what's the important thing in life. And a lot of the times it's fucked up, but people don't have somebody that's gonna walk through life with them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, next thing you know, like, you thinking like, well, I don't really want to tell nobody this because I don't want people to look at me different, funny, whatever. And I'm just like, nah, we gonna treat each other the same. We gonna help you out, and there we gonna crack jokes because that's one thing that we gonna do. Everybody gonna get their jokes off, but sometimes we gotta like buckle down and be serious for a minute and be like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's figure this out. Let's, what do we have to do? What do you need? How can we support you? Whatever. All right, boom. Let's be there for whoever this is and whatever it is they're going through. Like, look, just, if you can, cool. If you can't, don't worry about it. And it's just cool to have some friends like that, because sometimes a lot of times you be feeling like, damn, this is a lot. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to deal with this. And you don't even want to talk to your own family or nothing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But it's like, I need to talk to somebody outside of my family and stuff that I can just vent to and be myself with, and I don't have to like put on a front or nothing like that. So yeah.
definitely. I'm trying to think where we need to start this week, man. A lot has happened in sports in the last week, for real. Like, no funny.
Oh, okay, cool. I ain't even gonna finish reading that message, man. One of my aunts was in the hospital, and my cousin, he an only child. He wasn't answering the phone or nothing, so ain't nobody know what really happened. And I guess somebody must have finally talked to him or something. And she was telling me she all right, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sometimes we keep ourselves from having someone that.
That's true.
Very true.
I am definitely an advocate of that. I am a huge
Very true.
Push everybody aware. Like, deal with it on my owner.
Yes.
That's me. That's definitely me. I get scolded about that a lot from a lot of people, where I'm just like, I don't ask for help. I just deal with it, figure it out.
Bro, but the thing is though, before we get into Dre's question real quick, it's like you tend to fall back on that, because if you've had people help you before and it turned out bad, you tend to build up that wall and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to subject myself to this shit no more. So when the next time something happens, I'll just deal with it internally. And after a while, you start to feel like, well, I don't have to hear as much bullshit when I deal with it internally. So I'll just keep dealing with it like that. And then eventually you just learn to stop leaning on people. And it takes you a lot to overcome that before you can start feeling like, okay, I can trust people again. I can really lean on these people again, or what have you. Then it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's starting to kind of thin out or whatever. But it's a touch and go situation. But we'll go ahead and get started right here.
That's actually, as I was looking at the rundown, I was like, that's probably where I want to start at. Like,
I
just because that's like,
I was like, you know what? Maybe we should shift it, but we always shift it around anyway. So
yeah, and that's like the biggest topic right now, to be honest. And
yeah,
I know I have my views. I voice my views on social media on different posts and different people that I know. You know, I don't comment on the strangers. Mostly the converse is with people I know. So like, it's tough, right?
The thing is, man, like we could have certain conversations with ourselves, but there's certain conversations that we can't really have with the public because you have to have
everybody's opinion is different on this particular subject from different.
Yes.
It's like you get the racial side of it, you get the basketball side, you get the racial basketball side. It's a lot with it because a lot of people are like, well,
you still get like that
men and women side.
I would just get ready to say you get the gender thing in there too. So
because where men are like, this is why women's basketball soft now. They don't know it. I'm like, yeah, but bro, it's like even if this was going on in the NBA, I would say the same thing. Like if it's tough because I literally feel like it's Caitlyn and Angel. I don't think it's just Caitlyn. Now, is Caitlyn getting the worst of it? Hell yeah. That's not no normal rookie shit, yo. Like, I know what normal rookie shit look like. We've all watched football, basketball, baseball, whatever. We watched this shit for years. You've never had a player, well, I ain't gonna say never. We haven't had a player come into a league with so much press, media, and just everything behind them since LeBron, right? And even when LeBron came in, they was going at him crazy. Was it physical? Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Like, was it to the level of this?
I'm gonna put it to you like this. The most physical I've seen LeBron get done was that 05 series against the Pistons and then in the finals against the Spurs. That Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons and that Finals against the Spurs when they got swept in Cleveland. Because, or was it 07? I can't remember. Anyway, because he was so beat to hell after that one game in Detroit where he scored like, what, 25 or 27 out of their last 30 points. The dude was barely 22 years old or whatever. He could barely talk and stand up after the game because he was so exhausted. And then backdoor in San Antonio, he's cramping and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And he just couldn't physically do it anymore. He didn't have anything left to will his team to even one win in that finals because he was physically spent from the Pistons.
Like he was beat up.
Right. So I remember a younger LeBron. But LeBron was so physically imposing coming into the league, it was hard for him to get beat up per se. Now I do remember
wear and tear does happen because after a while you can only endure but so much. You know what I mean? Before it's just like, damn, like you can take a couple bumps, but when it's repeated back to back, just like physicality, it's different. And that's how I'm. Oh, go ahead.
No, everybody's gonna get tested. They're gonna test you, but some of the other stuff too is like depending on the type of person and player that you are. And Caitlin Clark got that dog in her where she gonna talk her shit, and she gonna even talk shit to her teammates like, "Hey, I expect more of you. Like, you need to do better. Like, fuck that."
Yeah,
like,
I ain't gonna lie. Ain't no way she getting beat up like this. Her teammates don't even come to her, and that's where. So my argument, or kind of like side of it, is with that too. Is there jealousy on the team? Because I'm looking at it from an entire league standpoint, and I said this on Facebook the other day, and I think on my Facebook post, and I might have said it on Twitter too, but I see it more from a jealousy standpoint in the sense of with her and Angel. And I'm not, again, I know we're kind of particularly talking about Caitlyn, but I look at it from both of them, and even Cameron Brink, even anybody from this draft class that was high up, Cardoza, like these women came in the league from this class starting going forward. The league is about to change in major ways. And we've talked about this, we've said it, at least the next 3 to 4 draft classes as of right now. And that's not including the seniors that are in high school that are about to come after next season. Like the next 3 to 4 years is about to be insanely crazy in the W. And they're jealous now, but think about once more of these people come in, it's going to get worse. But look at everything they've gotten in this short time. The last 2 months? I'll say since the draft. They're getting better playing rides now, which is something they wanted. Now they're getting it. The money is going to come because now the games are starting to sell out. People are coming to the games.
They're actually moving games.
The merch is moving.
Arenas.
And bigger TV spots. They're getting ESPN play that they didn't get before. The merch is moving for everybody.
Speaking of the TV spots, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw an alert earlier where the next Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game has been moved to ESPN instead of NBA TV. So they took it off the NBA's television network and put it on ESPN to give it a bigger platform. Again,
because the first time a couple days ago, that's where it was on Saturday. So it's like, you're getting like they're getting everything you asked for outside of the pay raises, which is gonna come now because with everything else, with people watching the games, with people showing up, celebrities are at these games. Like Angel said in her the other day, I agree with what she said, but I also feel like to a certain extent, she got to watch what she say. She keeps taking on this villain thing and like, if I be the villain, like chill. You ain't got to be all that. It's not about you being a villain, but just know that these women are coming at you because they're jealous. They feel like they should have been got this stuff because they've been them. They've been her. You know what I mean? Like we say as men, we him. We've been him. They've been her. So it's like, in a sense, they're upset because they're like, y'all two coming. What's so special about y'all two? Like we weren't that when we were coming out of college. We were better than y'all outside of Caitlyn. Because I think Asia Wilson definitely was better than Angel. And I think even Aaliyah Boston, in my opinion, was better than Angel. Angel just is more polarizing. And from a media marketing standpoint, she's better than all of them coming out.
By far.
That's also why I said Washington was stupid for taking the girl they took from UConn, the one with the colorful braids. I really cannot remember her name, and I apologize. But that's why I said they were stupid for taking her. From a basketball standpoint, I get it. But y'all still not winning games. From a marketing money standpoint, Angel was the better pick just because you want to make money. I get you want to win, but you want to put butts in seats.
Aaliyah Edwards. That's who it is. I remember. And I like her. I was like, wait, it's another Aaliyah. Damn it.
Yeah, Aaliyah Edwards is fire. So I definitely, just in case she ever listens to this, I don't want to take nothing from you. You're dope. I think she's amazing on the course. But from a standpoint of marketing and money, me personally as a GM, I definitely would have went Angel. And Angel's good. So it's not like you're losing anything at all. She's from the area. So you're definitely going to get fans there just from that standpoint. So it's crazy. I think, and I told y'all also on draft night, Cameron Brink is the underrated steal of the draft for the Sparks. Bro, I wanted them to get Cardoza, but I said Cardoza or Brink.
Yes.
And I didn't think we were going to go guard with that next pick. I thought we were going to go Brink and Cardoza personally.
When I saw them get Rickea Jackson, I was like, because I remember we were sitting there.
Well, I knew Chicago at 3 was going to go. I knew they were going to go. Once we went Brink at 2, I knew they were going to go Cardoza at 3. They had no choice. They had to take the big man because it was either if we took Cardoza, they were taking Brink. So I knew we weren't going to get both. But then I was like, well, shit, we can get Angel And I wasn't even thinking about Rickea Jackson. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, Rickea was there. And Rickea she came off that bench the other night. Boy, in the starting lineup now.
Mm-hmm.
Going crazy.
And look, I remember because I was like, wait a minute. I said, you know what? You know what would be nice? I said, what if they take, I can't remember who else it was. Let me see. It because I was looking at Jackson or Angel, or it was somebody else. Who was it? I don't think it was the girl from Ohio. It may have been the girl from Ohio State, or it was somebody else though, but or it could have been the other guard from UConn. It was somebody else. And I was thinking, I was like, but you know what? I was like, what if they go with Jackson? And I forgot like Jackson 6'2". I'm looking at her. I'm thinking she's like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. I looked, I was like, oh, wait, she's
You know who also been going crazy? Like Dre just said, Kate Martin has quietly been going crazy for the
Oh,
Aces.
yeah.
And also,
I take what Dre said about
Elisa
Kate Martin with a grain of salt.
Bruh. Yeah, but I also watched her. If you really paid attention
really
to
has
Iowa,
been good. She really has
and
been
I was
good.
gonna say, if you really paid attention to Iowa, even though everybody was looking at Caitlin, Kate Martin was dropping dimes, was hitting buckets. Like she was the number 2 behind her. And I always say, like, always pay it like when who was the running back behind Saquon at Penn State? The one we got. What's his name? That plays for the Panthers now. Sanders.
Oh, Swift?
No, not Swift, Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, Miles Sanders was fire. But guess what? He was the number 2 behind Saquon. Mm-hmm. And when we picked him up, I was like, nah, I was watching Penn State games. Like when bro got in, he went crazy. Saquon was the number 1, but Miles was going crazy at number 2. He can be a nice little pickup for us, and he was. Like, so a lot of times you got to look at who's that number 2 behind a lot of these dope players. And Elisa Pilley, that's with Minnesota. Mm-hmm. The Hawaiian joint from not Hawaiian, I'm sorry, the Samoan young lady from Utah. She been going crazy with Minnesota, doing the same thing she was doing.
When they finally got her off the bench, and let her play, and she ended up with like 20 and 6 rebounds and something, I was going like, hey,
crazy.
Y'all let her in.
Now she about to go. She about to go crazy. That's why I say, like, I watch women's basketball. Mm-hmm. These next 3 to 4, maybe 5. Like I said, that senior, that the juniors who are going into their senior year in high school this year, from their class, that's why I say 45, it's about to be retarded. Like, in such a good way, because you got a lot of vets that are going to be phasing out. They got new teams coming in. That's the one thing too. That's the other side that I hate, is that there's not enough teams. They definitely got to start expanding the league. And I'm hoping, like, I really hope that the whole idea that every NBA team should have a WNBA team definitely comes to light, because there's so many dope women that's not going to get an opportunity. We just seen Daisha Fair get cut from the Aces. I kind of wanted to get on it last week, but it was crazy. Birthday week, that whole show was wild. We ain't talking no sports. But Daisha getting cut was crazy.
She was their first second round pick. Kate Martin was actually their second round pick.
Yeah, and I think Fair personally, and it has nothing to do with race, I think Fair was way better personally, but that's just how it goes. Like, she'll make a roster. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like how the NBA goes. Like, you got to wait to see about injuries, and they might cut somebody and be like, no, we're going to bring her in. Different things are going to happen. She actually may make one of the expansion teams next year, because that also is a possibility, because there's 2 new teams coming in with Golden State and Toronto. So they're moving up to 14 teams next season. Hopefully within the next few years we expand even more. But I definitely think it's gonna be something dope to see. Who makes what roster? More than likely, Toronto or Golden State will have that number 1 pick next year. who is looking like it's paid. It should be Paige Bachner.
I
But
think it's gonna be Paige. If it's
I
not
mean, it's
Paige,
pretty clear that it's Paige. I'm
it
trying
may
to
be
think.
her teammate Ozzy Fudd.
Yep.
Because
So
I think she's gonna be draft eligible after next season, if I'm not mistaken.
I
But
believe
like
so.
the thing is, like, I think Fair was more of like a defensive playmaker type of guard, whereas Kate Martin was more of like that spot up shooter playmaker type of guard. Like she could, both of them are playmakers. It's just on the offensive end, Martin has that spot up shot where I think she's a better shooter than Fair's a better scorer.
Fair's
And
the better
Martin's a better
guard.
shooter. That's how I'm trying to say
I think Daisha Fair is the better all around point guard as far as like ball
Right.
distribution and just being a point guard and handling the floor. So,
and they already kind of got that with Plum and the other girl there. So it's like of the two of them, they were like, okay, what do we need more? Do we need like this dog more? Or do we need like this shooter more? Like, nah, we really need the shooter because we
need the shooters. We need more, even though Vegas got hella scores, but it's still like I'd rather add more scores because we got people that can distribute and handle the rock. So we're good at guard, but that 2 guard kind of 3, because the WNBA is weird with height. So like that 2-3 isn't that far. Your 2 could be 5'11", to be honest. Your 3 is like 6'1". Like it's not too many giants. Like the giants really are the centers and power forwards. But even a power forward is like 6'4". Like for them, like 6'3", 6'4" is a power forward.
Like Angel, who's 6'3", and then you got girls like Brink, who's like around that 6'4" mark, and they're both listed as, you know, power forwards.
And then you got some taller ones, like you got the Cardozas that are 6'9". You got, you know what I mean? Like you got the really tall girls that are down in the post. So
matter of fact, the one girl, who was it? Oh gosh, who drafted her? I can't remember this team's like their initial LAS. Who is
Sparks?
Sparks, that's it. Bro, I drew a blank. The girl that the Sparks drafted out of Australia, she's listed as a power forward. She's only 6'1". And then you got a Caitlin Clark who's listed as a point guard who's 6 foot. So sometimes you get those weird anomalies like that in the women's game, but it's not that often. It typically holds pretty true to, you know, the heights and different things like that they talk about. So it's interesting to me when you see a point guard at 6 foot and a power forward at 6'1", because typically you see the point guards like 5'5" to 5'10", and the power forwards like 6'2" to 6'4" or whatever. But it's interesting, and I love the direction the women's game is going in. And I know that some people may not, and just as we say that Arika Ogunbowale for the Dallas Wings went off against the Aces. She had 31, 4 rebounds, 4 steals, and 7 assists.
That's the other part. Everybody's playing the Aces crazy. That Atlanta game the other day, bro, Atlanta came at them crazy. Like everybody is going to play the Aces in New York outside of playing Chicago and Indiana crazy. They're going to play them two tough, super tough.
Yeah, I like what's going on as far as the competition in the league is concerned and stuff. But one thing that kind of has me a little bit like, I'm gonna say thrown off, is the fact that the people are acting like this isn't something that this is new to the women's game or something like that. Like, this ain't new. The women have always been like this. They've always been physical. They've always been this competitive and whatnot. This isn't something that's new to the women's game. You just started paying attention to it because Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and company, this new rookie class coming in, made you pay attention to them in college. And so now you're paying attention to them as pros. But the women's game has always been like this. Like somebody posted a clip from Candace Parker's rookie year, where the chick from the New York Liberty kind of tried her. And Candace was like, nah, I ain't having that shit.
And that was the other side of things where I'm like, yeah, this has been around in sports, period. In women's sports, men's sports. It's like, as a rookie, you're gonna get, if you've come in with a lot of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're coming in with a lot of
Publicity.
publicity and all of that, fanfare, all of that. Candace came in with it from Tennessee. Like, it's you're gonna get it because everybody's looking like, what's so special about you? Now you up here with the big girls, with the big boys. Let's see how you can do now. And that is the other side of the stuff with Caitlyn, where Caitlyn talks it. Yeah, she may not be as physical, but that mouth side, bro, like she talks. So it's like you're getting what you're giving in a sense. You know what I mean? Now, I will say what old girl from Chicago did the other day, I personally do think that wasn't called for. Like, she's waiting for an inbound. She's not looking at you. I don't know what may have happened minutes before that, but you can clearly see that she came in, lowered the shoulder with the lift. You know what I mean? So, like, stuff like that. And even Angel getting that tech the other day, same thing. Like, they're both being targeted by the refs, by the players, because it's just like those two are the most polarizing players to come in the league in a very long time.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: the Caitlin Clark kind of threw a L. Her and Kennedy Carter were kind of talking back and forth. There was a play like right before that where like Clark looked like she kind of threw an elbow. I want to say to Kennedy's face or chest or something. It was above her chest or whatever. And Kennedy Carter, like, she took her a little cheap shot. It was a cheap shot. But she was like, nah, I ain't about to let you, like, hold me like that. You know, plus you're a rookie and you talking shit. And so I got to show you, like, I'm not no punk bitch. That's sports. That's basketball. That's just the competitive nature of two highly talented professional athletes going at it.
And on the other side, Kennedy Carter has been cut from every damn WNBA team because she don't know how to fucking act. So it's that fine line with that. I get that, but she done got cut from every damn team because she don't know how to fucking act. Like, that's the other side of it. Like, as good as she is, she don't know how to fucking act.
I'm not excusing what she did, but given, you know, the circumstances around it, I understand. I'll put it to you like this: I understand why she retaliated. I just don't agree with how she went about it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
And then it was the whole thing with the team cheering, like, come on, Chicago, like, even you, Swoop, like, come on, man. Like, Swoop remind me, and it's so crazy because of the era she comes from of basketball. Her and Dawn Staley are so the same person because they come from that same era of basketball. If you like, when you think about it, it's like, yo, because Dawn, low key, Dawn be the same way. It's just in front of everybody. She's like, hey man, we can't do that. In the locker room, she's like, yeah, get that bitch, knock that bitch down.
Because look,
her ass on the court.
We grew up watching some of them lay the foundation for the WNBA as it is.
Yeah, I low key, I dead ass been watching since I was a kid, bro. Like, I've always been a Sparks fan because of Lisa Leslie, but I can't say that I wasn't a Houston Comets fan. That Comets team,
bro.
Oh my god,
bro.
The New York Liberty when they had Rebecca Lobo, Washington, like, bro, I'm an old school WNBA fan, dead ass. Like, I used to have the jerseys as a kid, like, for real.
Bro, this is how deeply ingrained I am with the WNBA, right? So before the state of Louisiana took my scholarship and I couldn't go to Tulane no more, and I was about to get in trouble and I had to move to Houston, I was going to Tulane. And I shit you not, I went to school with, and even had some classes with, I want to say I can count, I know at least 4 for sure, maybe 5 or more WNBA players that I was cool with, and a couple of them I'm like real cool with still to this day. Shout out to Janelle Burst, who I want to say Janelle won a ring with the Seattle Storm back in the day. My homegirl Gwen Slaughter. Gwen was playing and started having kids, had a family, and she went and did her own thing. Grace Daly was a senior that year, my freshman year at Tulane. And I want to say another one of the guards, Sarah Gorey. I want to say Sarah played in the WNBA also. But I still keep loosely in touch with Janelle on like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff. Like, she's doing good for herself, and just getting to know them as classmates and people that I knew, and we went to class, went to school together and stuff. And then seeing them go on to play in the league, that made me a fan, because it's like I'm watching women that I knew, that I went to school with, that I'm cool with. You know what I'm saying? And then to see them still to this day, the league still thriving and successful, based off of some of the hard work that some of the women that I'm personally cool with knew and did and whatnot. It's just always been kind of dope to me. And plus, my daughter is not really into it per se, but it's just having other females that you're cool with, that that you love and respect or whatever, and they enjoy this kind of thing, and to see them have this platform or whatever is pretty fucking dope. And I just love sports, period. And to me, the women's game is more of a pure game of basketball, the way the game was invented, the way guys like us would probably play it if we went out and played today. You're not going to see somebody jumping from the free throw line every other play and dunking on people, and you're not going to see somebody that's 6'10", 250 with a handle in a mid-range game like Apollo Banchero out there every day. You're going to see more Aaliyah Bostons than you're going to see Wembanyamas. You're going to see more Angel Reese's and Caitlin Clark's than you're going to see a freaking Blake Griffin or a Chris Paul.
Because when we were younger, because we were in that not far off age range, but still from that same era. But if you were tall, they stuck your ass in the post. It wasn't no ball handling. It was get your ass down there, rebound, post up, post dunk. It wasn't no flashy. Even at power forward, same thing. Get your ass in the post. One no stretch fours and shit like that. Of what the game is now. Kids nowadays, probably from that Anthony Davis era, a little bit starting there, maybe a little before, but definitely from that era. Mm-hmm. Think about Anthony Davis, mostly because of his growth spurt, going from a guard to a center, and being able to handle the rock. Centers are dribbling forwards now. Look at Manute Bol's son, Bobo. Bobo can handle the rock like a guard. If you watch his high school mixtapes, bro was handling the ball like a guard.
Fucking Wemby.
Wemby too can handle the ball like a guard. Being a big man is not being a big man anymore. What up, Dre? Being a big man at the 5, you're really still a 1. You literally can move from 1 to 5, being 7 feet tall now.
And we look at guys like Joker and Embiid, who are basically point centers,
who can shoot the 3 so fluent.
Both of those guys are 7 foot, about 270, 280 or so, but they can bring the ball up the court and get their team into the offense. That's not a thing anymore to see a guy that looks like that can handle the ball and bring the ball up the court and get the offense started, initiate it, and distribute. In the era of basketball I grew up in, you didn't see big men doing shit like that. They got their ass underneath the basket, and if you took a shot anywhere from outside the basket, it was weird. And if you had a big man that had a jumper, it was no more than 15 to 18 feet. That was the extent of his range if he had a jumper. For the most part, big men stayed within 8 feet of the basket, no more than 8 feet out. Nowadays, you got stretch 4s and stretch 5s, like you were talking about just a little while ago. So the game has definitely changed. And then also another flip side to that, but I see a lot more guards that have a bit of a post game to them. And they're going to be people who are going to attribute that to Kobe, but I'm going to attribute that to guys like Mike and Magic before Kobe, because those were the guys that Kobe watched that said, hey, I need to make sure I add this to my game. And I'm going to go to Olajuwon to try to get this part of my game because he's the best person in the business as far as footwork and timing and everything else is concerned in the post. And to see Kobe incorporate that into his game when he did, and to the level at which he did, and then influence a whole generation of guys, like that shows you the power that a guy like Kobe had over that next generation. And then now you take it even another step further. You look at what guys like Steph did for the following generation. You know, because like people like to say on social media, this person or that person has sons or daughters out there. Like Steph got a lot of sons in the league and a lot of daughters out there right now. A lot. And it's crazy to me to see all of this, man, because just like I love it because I see the influence of the previous generation on the current generation. And even reaching back a little further, you still see, like, to me, Joker and Embiid and big men like that and Anthony Davis's and stuff like that. To me, that still harkens back to when you had a guy like a Magic Johnson who came into the league and took the league and college basketball by storm. Because it was like, what is a 6'9", 230 or so 40-pound guy doing running point? Larry Bird was the same kind of way. Like, what is this unathletic white dude doing? And he's making plays, averaging damn near a triple-double. Like, how is this happening? You know, Bird was 6'8" himself. Magic was 6'9". And so I look back on guys like that, and I'm just amazed at what they were able to do, and then the influence that they had on the following generations. And you see it not only in the NBA, but also in the WNBA as well, because you got a girl like a Juju Watkins at USC, just finished her freshman year. Juju's 6'2", and she handles the ball better than most of the guards and is a lot smoother, you know, making shots and creating shots for herself than a lot of the bigs. So I just love where the game is going, especially on the women's side. On the men's side, it's starting to kind of look a lot better. There's still a long way to go. That there's a lot of things that I don't like about the way men's college basketball and the NBA is being played these days. But we got a good finals coming up with the Mavericks and the Celtics.
Man.
And I'm really interested in seeing this.
This is it's an interesting matchup.
The first thing, honestly, that I think about, that I'm worried about after that graphic and that announcement went out, I think yesterday or day before, is the referees. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Having Tony Brothers and Scott Foster as part of the officiating crew for the NBA Finals makes me nervous, because I don't feel like we'll get games called evenly. It's going to be slanted one way or the other. The conspiracy theories are already out, and I've already seen think pieces. And game one is tomorrow night. Yeah, and we've already seen think pieces and conspiracy theories about how the finals are going to go.
Which I'm so glad we're doing this show before game one. I'm so glad. Like literally the night before. I think this series is going to be amazing. I can't predict it though. I really can't predict who's truly going to win. I personally think, and everybody who knows Kyrie has this huge vendetta against Boston. This is going to go one of two ways. Either he's going to be too vetted for revenge and it's going to hurt him, or he going to dog walk the fuck out these niggas for 4 games. I don't know if it's going to be 4 in a row, but the 4 games that they potentially could win, he is going to dog walk them. He gonna go crazy. Him and Luka are gonna have a fucking time. On the other side, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are a young tandem that is dangerous also, along with Kristaps Porzingis, who is also a former Mav, and along with some of the other players. It's hard because I think I like Boston's cast as a whole better than I like the Mavs. But I think the Mavs have some dogs.
Yeah.
So I like the Celtics in 6 as a Laker fan. I don't like the Celtics in 6. Hey man, it's that year. Y'all, if you know, like we are tied and we're tied. Like they win this year, they back up one, and I don't want them to go back up one. I want us to go back up. So there's that. So I'm rooting for the Mavs off that alone, but non-biasly, I like the Celtics. I do. I can't. It's the only time you're gonna get me saying this out loud. I gotta pull a Steve today. I like the Celtics. I do. Like I think overall they have a much better cast. I think Porzingis' health is going to be major for them because Porzingis is going to have to play a lot. And if he's not healthy, if he's not up to par, if he's not playing, that's a major factor in them losing. Major factor.
Bro, like it says he's going to play. There's also the story.
Disappears.
It says he's plans to play, and he's unsure if he's 100%. The other note says that he has no ill will, quote unquote, towards the Mavericks and Luka.
No, I don't believe he does. He didn't leave on bad terms. He just was injured while he was there. You know what I mean? They traded him to. Did they trade him or did he leave? I think he left in free agency when he went to Washington. Or did they trade him to Washington?
I can't remember, but it was, I want to say there was some like backlash, I'll call it, because some people thought that him and Luka should have gotten more time together.
Dog. When he went there, when New York traded him to Dallas, I was excited for Dallas. I was like,
bro,
thinking, he about to go crazy. This about to be a nice little tandem. And then he got hurt just like he did in New York. And I was like, fuck. Like Porzingis really was that nigga in New York, and then he gets hurt. It's like, all right, cool. Most big men do. All right. Then he goes out to Dallas. They trade him out to Dallas, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I like this.
I really thought that him and Luka was going to be a nice tandem for a few years.
Same. And then he got hurt. Then he went out to Washington, and I was like, yeah, he about to die. Yeah, he gonna die. Because that's just what it is. You get sent to Washington, your career's over. I'm looking at, even though I get it, Washington really is trying. They really want to like turn stuff around. I think, now I agree there. The Mavs picking PJ up was definitely a great move, and I agree. I think he is definitely the X factor for this series altogether.
Oh, definitely.
Just that, just the shooting and scoring with the Mavs in general. Like everybody has to click and be on like one accord for real,
bro. And that's the part that I'm really like looking forward to, is to see how Boston defends Dallas, because you have not one, but you have two guys who can dribble, drive, and break down your defense and kick it out to guys like PJ Washington waiting in the corner for those corner threes. And I saw them constantly do this to the Timberwolves. And it didn't matter if you double team Luka or you double team Kyrie, because they're so good and so smart that they're always going to find a way out of the double team, whether it's dribbling out of it or passing out of it. And they're always going to make the right decision. So it's like, how is Boston going to defend that? And you got to have at least one or two guys that's going to be able to take on some of the firepower that Dallas has and be able to say, okay, I'm going to cancel this guy out. And I'm not talking about Luka or Kyrie. I'm talking about the PJ
role
Washington,
players, yeah,
Derek Lively's, and those guys.
The Derek Andersons on the other side. Like it's
Right.
It's the role players. It's never the stars. It's always what role players are going to step up when, like, let's say this star or that star is not hidden, or they're having an off night, or they're being heavily guarded and being shut down. Who else on that team is going to step up big? That was always my gripe with the Lakers was, AD ain't hidden. Bron not hidden, or Bron being shut down, or even when they are scoring, they can only score so much by themselves. They can give you 30 each, 20, 30 each. That's like 50, 60, maybe 70-ish between the two of them. But who else on the team is stepping up outside of them? Who's that third and fourth scorer?
Exactly. And that's the thing that Dallas has been doing this whole playoff run is, bro, they've had times where you look at the Mavs and you like, okay, who's gonna step up? Who's gonna be the guy? Who's going to blah 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 blah? And you're like, okay, Luka's the first guy to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists in a playoff thing. And fuck, he leads them in steals too. Okay, who else is gonna step up? Then you got PJ Washington, you got Derek Jones. Daniel Gafford, I didn't even realize Daniel Gafford was a thing until like this postseason. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's the other dude that's been balling out at the big man spot for them besides Lively. You know, freaking Kleber is still a stretch 4 or 5 guy that they bring off the bench that you know, you thinking, oh, well, screw it. I got all these other guys. I'll leave Kleber open. And then he constantly knocks down threes or open shots or makes the skip pass to the next guy. You know, and all of that. And we still haven't even mentioned Tim Hardaway Jr., who's still on that team.
And even on Boston, you got Drew Holiday, Derek White, Al Horford. You got Porzingis. You got Jaylen Brown. You got Jason Tatum. After that, it is kind of a who's who, but I like Sam Hauser. People don't talk about Sam Hauser's came in big for Porzingis being hurt. When he's been hurt. Luke Cornett also.
Yes.
Like Xavier Tillman. It's the role, like I said, again, it's the role players when those big names aren't hidden or when they're subbed out. Are you coming in contributing? Like that's the biggest thing for Boston. The Mavs may actually have a deeper roster now that I think
I think what it is the Mavs. This is what makes me think that it makes people perceive that is the Mavs have more players that play and contribute to winning than the Celtics have.
And vets.
Celtics, yeah. When you look at the Celtics, it's Tatum and Brown. And, you know, you got White and you got Holiday and Porzingis or whatever. Peyton Pritchard, okay, cool. But then when you look at the Mavs, you're like, okay, we got Luka and Kyrie, yes, you know, just like they got Tatum and Brown. But then you got PJ Washington who can go for 20 or 30 a game. You got Derek Jones Jr. who can go for Daniel Gafford has stepped up out of nowhere. You know, Derek Lively was a highly touted recruit at Duke in the lottery pick. But then you got guys like Kleber and Green and Hardaway Jr. You know, like and Dwight Powell has barely played a handful of minutes every game, and he was their other big guy that was showing out for them the last few years. He can't even get playing time right now because of Gafford and Lively. So it's like this Dallas team. I'm hating to agree with you, but I'm gonna have to like on this one. Like they do have like the deeper, better team than the Celtics do. They just do. Because honestly, with Porzingis' injury history and Horford's old, Holiday got some stuff. He's still a really good player, and Derek White has stepped up big time. But I mean, when you look past Tatum and Brown, the rest of that lineup looks more shaky compared to the Mavs after you look at Kyrie and Luka. and I just don't see I don't see Boston losing 4 out of 7 games to Dallas unless like DJ made the comment earlier, Jason Tatum shrinks when the lights get bright.
He does.
If he pulls another one of those, nut up moments, I could easily see the Mavs doing it. But I also think that motivating factor is there for Tatum and Brown when they have that reputation for having the most playoff games played together as a tandem without winning a ring. And at some point, this ain't like, back in the day when you had NBA greats, all-time greats at that, Malone and Stockton and Gary Payton, Charles Barkley, and guys like that were all-time greats and never won a ring. Sniffed one a couple of times, maybe once or twice, but never won one.
Mm-hmm.
In this era, it's the era of you better get it while the getting is good. And if you good enough, you should be able to win a ring.
Because this is
a lot of people winning rings.
I think this is the most random NBA Finals. I don't think anybody had the Mavs being there. I think everybody pretty much had Denver going back.
This was like when you had who was it? It was early 2000s. It was the Spurs and the Nets.
Yeah. Super random. Like you had the Spurs there.
But no, you had that Spurs Pistons finals.
Yeah, it's always
you had finals like that. You was like, what the hell?
And I think that was like when the Pistons were coming out of nowhere. It wasn't the Spurs because everybody pretty much had the Spurs coming out the West.
The Spurs was still the Spurs, but it was when the Pistons end up getting Sheed and Billups in them. And then Wallace came up as a defensive player of the year and stuff.
Yeah,
and they drafted Tayshaun Prince.
Uh-huh.
In that same draft that Melo and them was in, or that draft after that, whatever it was. But when they drafted him,
Tayshaun was a dog. Yeah, people don't.
Bro, I was like, oh shit.
Tayshaun was a small forward that was built like a power forward, but he shot it and moved like a small forward. He was long. He was. Pause.
He was about 6'9" and had like this ridiculous like 7'2" or 7'3" wingspan.
But he could move with it. He was a dribbler.
And he was super
he come
skinny.
Down with the and boom.
He was super skinny. And the thing
him and Rip Hamilton was coming off of them years in Washington.
Coldest mid-range game in the league.
Rip with the mask.
Rip
with the mask was different when he cut the hair. The braids was gone.
Mask Rip.
Yes. Mask Rip with no braids with the fade. That nigga was a dog.
Prince used to throw me off because his shot, he used to kind of shoot from his shoulder a little bit. And like his shot like used to kind of throw me off, but I forget like, okay, this dude's 6'9" with ridiculously long ass arms. So even though his shot looks a little funny, he gets it off and it goes down. It's crisp and clean and everything. But I remember Chauncey Billups because my uncle and my cousins that live up there in Denver. I remember my uncle told me, he was like, hey, watch out for this kid, Billups. He was like, watch for Chauncey Billups. And I was like, what do he look like? He's like, hey, man, he's a guard. He's tough, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. And I saw him at Colorado that freshman year. I was like, oh, shit, this dude is good. Then when he got to the league, I was like, all right, let's see what he's going to do. And he was with Boston. And I was like, all right, you went to one of the blue blood teams in the league. And he was never really to write home about. But when he got to Detroit, I don't know what it was, bro. He just got and the light bulb clicked off. And putting him with Rip and Sheed and Wallace and Prince, and then having Larry Brown as the coach, it was magic.
It's a perfect storm.
Yeah, it really was, man. But I love that. Like, I look back now and I realize, like, in it, I didn't appreciate that era of basketball as much, but looking back on it, I appreciate it more now than what I did back then, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I've grown to know, like, the game has ebbs and flows and it has changes. And I think at that time I was still kind of holding on to like what I remember basketball being. And I was like, I wanted to go in this direction, and it really wasn't going in the direction I wanted to go in quick enough. And eventually it got there to where we are now, where it's more free flowing and, the scoring is starting to go back up. But just back then, it was a different game, different league, and it just took us a while to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I think so many people cling to Kobe so tightly, is because Kobe really filled that gap after Mike left. Like, you didn't really have that guy that you could just put on that pedestal and look up to like that, in the league. And Kobe kind of stepped in and filled that gap for a lot of people after Mike left. And I'm glad there was a little bit of crossover there between him and Mike, so it could be almost like a sort of semi-pass under the torch, same way it was with Kobe and LeBron.
Yeah.
There was some crossover there, so it could be like a pass under the torch. And, there's been crossover with a ton of guys, with LeBron and Steph and KD and, Giannis and stuff like that, and Luka and Kyrie and everything else. And so it's pretty dope, man, seeing like the generations kind of pass the torch and pass the baton to the next generation, and see them, pick up where they left off and see how they carrying the game forward and whatnot. And it's the same thing like we talked about in the WNBA and in women's college basketball, where they're passing the baton and passing the torch to that next generation. And over there, it seems to be happening a little bit more rapidly because they're trying to grow the game so much. Whereas on the men's side, it's a little bit more slow build because we know so much more about these guys and see them play more often, that it's a little bit different feeling that we get from them than when we get from the women. One of the other things that NBA news I know you wanted to hit on this week was the rumors surrounding JJ Redick potentially being the Lakers' next coach.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel. Watching the podcast, it sounds everything, the way he talks, the X's and O's, his mind. I'm a huge Duke fan, so I know JJ is one of them ones. Yes. Not saying that he can't do it, but
yeah,
it's certain, and I said this in our chat, it's certain markets I would never want to be a first-time coach in. LA, whether you the Clippers or the Lakers, New York, where else? Any LA team, Dallas, being first-time coach, which will never happen, but still, like a relatively new coach with Dallas, I wouldn't want it. I'm trying to think of other sports and other teams, like cities and stuff. It's I don't even know if it's the city. It's just certain teams I would never, like Yankees, Boston, Celtics, and Red Sox. I would never want to be a first-time coach in those cities because it's like it could damn near kill your career unless you succeed. It's like you have to succeed because these are teams that are known for winning champion, like the Steelers. Even though it has worked out for the Steelers in the 4 head coaches they've had in their entire career, it works because most of their coaches are first-time head coaches and it totally works for them. But they're like the anomaly. Everybody else is like, if it does not work, it kills that coach. It really does. Like, it's hell being a first-time coach and hell, is any coach coming to the Lakers. Shit, after Phil, you are held to a standard that is crazy. It's championship or bust every year for us. So it's like, I'm scared for JJ because it's like, not saying he can't do it. He has the respect of the league. I think he'll definitely have the respect of a lot of players, the vets, especially because he just stopped playing with a lot of them. If you want to be honest, like he's friends with LeBron, he's friends with AD. Yeah. And I don't think the friend part is going to like cause any friction. I just think it's just tough being a first-time coach and being with LA. If it is true that he is to be the Lakers' next head coach. But I welcome it because it's something fresh and something different. I think that's what we needed.
Yeah.
Like Darvin was something different for sure, but I think Darvin was too soft. That was the issue. And Darvin a lot of times just looked lost.
Well, and I know we've talked about that before, and I think my issue with Darvin Ham was always that he may come into the game with a good game plan, but he fails to make necessary in-game adjustments.
Right.
And like I was saying when we were talking about it before off air, I was just like, I don't even put that all the way on him as much as him and his staff. Because a lot of the times we focus in on the coach and we say, okay, you're the guy, you're supposed to do this, blah, blah, blah. We forget that he has a whole staff and a scouting department.
That's the other side.
Everybody
else hiring the right staff.
Right. That contributes to that. And so, and that's a thing with certain coaches. If you hire guys that are, or just organizations in life in general, really, if you have a bunch of people who are yes men, who are just supporting whatever you do and say, no matter what it is you do and say, that's not conducive to premium productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Premium productivity is achieved when you surround yourself with people who know what you don't know. So that way they can, lift up your weaknesses and also at the same time accentuate and help you boost your strengths. So that way, the rising tide will raise all the ships instead of just one or two. But it's just the fact that you have to have the right kind of staff in place, the right kind of system in place, and they have to be supportive and they have to be able to check you when you're wrong and guide you in the right direction to make improvements. And I just didn't see that. But I think with Redick, he's such a basketball nerd and a basketball junkie that I think that he'll put his ego to the side in order to make sure that they achieve the ultimate goal, and that's winning.
Yeah, of course. And I think, like you said, ego aside, he's going to put the best people on the court. I think he's going to work with the GM to bring in the right people because he understands the analytics, the X's and O's, the those little nuances that I hate when I'm playing like 2K and stuff like that. When they're telling you like this player's the stuff you good at. Like when you talking about like the shot percentage and this player shoots. What's that damn baseball movie that gets me every time? Moneyball. Bro, I'm like, I love baseball, but that shit.
Yeah,
I be sitting there like he broke it down to like he wanted players like how often do they get to first base? How often do they make it to second? Do they hit triples? He was grabbing players, and it's so crazy, like thinking back to that time, but like he was grabbing players that nobody else was even looking at. Because he was like, no, they do this well. And if we focus on what they do well, we're going to win. And they won. So JJ reminds me of that. Like, he's going to be like, nah, we ain't drafting him because he got a good name. Well, look at this guy down here that nobody's paying attention to. And he, like Austin Reeves, nobody even probably was looking at Austin Reeves. That's the one thing I can say about the Lakers over time with Mitch. Mitch can draft. He brings in those role players. It may not always be a star. Like, yeah, we lucked up because of draft, like being low. We got Alonzo Ball. We got a D-Lo. You know what I mean? We lucked up on those guys. But it'd be them second round picks sometimes. It'd be some of those guys they bring in the camps that do stuff, and they're just like summer league. And it's like, he reminds me of Howie in the way, maybe that's why I like both franchises. He's like Howie, bro. Howie drafts really well. Howie also gets super fucking lucky. I will admit that.
Look, I was about to say, because there's no way in the world that you get N'Kobe Dean, Jalen Carter, and that other big defensive tackle, all three of Georgia's, that national championship team from Georgia, three of their main defenders fall to you in the draft back to back to back like that. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Bro, there's no way. Everybody thought that Devontae Smith is like some were calling him like a Deshaun Jackson 2.0. Like he's
And
just
he
a
is. I think he
small,
is.
skinny, fast guy who's probably going to have a few moments in the league and then he's going to be done. No, Devontae Smith has been healthy. He's been consistent and he's improved as a player every single season. And he's here for the long haul now. And it's just when you have a team like that with a GM like that and a front office who understands what that GM is looking for and a coach where you can say, hey, we need to make sure we get him the right kind of tools that he needs in order to cook. Like when you have that simpatico from head to toe in the organization, it'll work out for you more often than not. But it's when you have that disorganization and dysfunction and people aren't on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Is when you get a lot of the crap that you get from some of these teams. And you see that from a lot of teams a lot of the time. And when you have that dysfunction and that disorganization, you oftentimes will see that those teams don't last long. I mean, shit. The greatest football dynasty of all time, the Patriots, came to an end because egos eventually got in the way of that shit. So it's nobody's immune to it. It happens to the best of them, literally. But it's what you do when you have that window of opportunity open. And I will say this about Howie Roseman and the Eagles and whatnot. They've even switched coaches and managed to keep this thing going. And that to me is impressive as fuck. Because when you can switch coaches and kind of switch philosophies or the way you go about doing things on a coaching level, and you can still keep up the level of competition on your team, switch coaches and quarterbacks, I'll say, because they had to get rid of Wentz. Foles wasn't the answer, and they ended up with Hurts. So it's like when you're able to do all of that and still come out golden on the other side of it, like that to me is impressive as fuck.
I'm talking about you already have great defensive players as vets and they retire and you bring in, like, no pun intended, but you bring in some dogs. Again, no pun intended, but you did. You brought in the damn Georgia defense.
Literally brought in dogs.
It's crazy. Even on offense, same thing. You lose great players. You lose a great running back in Swift. Even before that, in Sanders, you lose Sanders, you bring in Swift, and the production that running back is still there. If not Smith, exactly. I'm gonna say still there because we didn't use Swift the way we were supposed to,
right?
Of course, and he still had 1,000-yard season. I don't know fucking how.
The only other team that I can remember that's done it, well, they have the same coach, but they changed quarterbacks for obvious reasons, is the Chiefs.
Yep.
Because they were doing it with Alex Smith. And then got Mahomes and started doing it with
quarterback
Mahomes.
Play went up. They won championships. You know what I mean? Like same thing at wide receiver. They lost Tyreek Hill, and like everybody they've brought in has. So it's like when you see a team and a franchise be able to do that, it's amazing. You know what I mean? And for me being a Philly fan, watching over the years, I can honestly say that's one thing we've always been good at. Like we may lose players, but we bring in players, and we've never had a total down year where we're like 4 in this, or if we get a top draft pick, it's because we didn't trade it with somebody that sucked. You know what I mean? It's never because we were that team that sucked and we're at the bottom of the league. Like, so even this season, lucking up and getting Saquon, and we're gonna talk more about it in the next, like, what is June now? Probably more end of July, going into preseason. You know, we got definitely have a list of guests I want to bring on to talk, but
OTAs
this football season is going to be amazing.
OTAs just finished up for mostly everybody this week, I think. This week or this weekend or something like that. And I think the next thing we got on the docket is there may be some more mini camps, I think. And then training camp starts like towards the end of July.
It's crazy that as Sloan pops in with the eyes, I was just about to say, literally, not just because I saw him, but I was going to say this before he popped in. I'm super interested with Chicago too, because hearing everything about Caleb in camp, where it's like he's good, but he's not doing good, but he's doing good. And it goes back to what everybody was saying going into the draft, that maybe Caleb ain't that guy. And Chicago did a lot to put a lot around him. They gave up a lot, they traded a lot, they brought in a lot. Wide receiver, running back, everything. They got DeAndre Swift from us. They brought in the wide receivers from the Chargers. They drafted Keenan Allen. They drafted amazing wide receivers.
They still from Washington. Remember the year before they brought in
from the Panthers. Yeah,
DJ Moore.
Yeah, they still the tight ends, like they have it on offense. So it's like I'm interested to watch because that division is tough now. Chicago has stepped up. Minnesota drafting a young quarterback. I'm interested to see how that goes, but they were still there. Offensively, they haven't lost anything outside of the quarterback play. Mm-hmm. But I'm interested to see how the young boy do. The Lions, tough. I feel like I'm leaving out a team. I said Chicago. Oh, Green Bay. And Green Bay being Green Bay was in the NFC Championship last year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That entire division is fire.
And remember excited. That division used to be. It was like
always
that
Green Bay.
It was like that meme from the Temptations. It's like we're the Packers, and this is the NFC North.
Right. For the longest time. Like Chicago would be there, here, there, and Sloan know that. Mm-hmm. Lions never really, they never really were. Minnesota would have moments where it looked like they could take it, depending on who their quarterback and stuff was. Really nothing since Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss, for real. But it's literally always been Green Bay. I mean, when you think about it, it was Brett Favre, and then you went into Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And the other division I'm excited for this year is the AFC North. It's all about the North divisions is killing it. The AFC North too.
And we talked about that last football season, how good the AFC North was.
Now, when you add not just Justin Fields, but Russell Wilson, and they're actually having a battle right now at quarterback, it's like everybody's like, nah, Russ is the starter. They brought him in. No, to be honest, they got both of them at a steal. They got Russ at a super low number because of his money with Denver. So he was like, I ain't even about to tax y'all because I'm already getting it back here. Just give me a little so it looked good. But then they went out and got Fields at a steal. And it's like, it don't matter which one of them they start. They gonna look good either way. Like, I'm inclined to say start the young boy, and if the young boy start messing up, start the vet. Or on the reverse, if the vet, start him. And if he start doing what he was doing in Denver, you got the young boy back there. You got the insurance policy.
Either way, it's like having a backup that you can believe in is something that's invaluable in the NFL. And I know I wrote about that this past week or something like that when I had to write about the Chiefs, because I was like, oh, that's what it was. It was we had to write about name one reason why this team won't make the playoffs. And basically my reasoning behind if the Chiefs miss the playoffs in this coming season is going to be because of their depth, either injury or play-wise, whatever it is. And the thing that I talked about at quarterback is if Mahomes goes down for any extended period of time, you have to rely on Carson Wentz. I ain't trying to rely on a guy who's
who's behind? Who's Wentz playing for? Playing for the Chiefs?
He's Mahomes' backup.
That's not a bad.
It's not a bad.
Not a bad backup, but
don't get me wrong. As a backup, you could do a lot worse, but you can also do a lot better. Dude on his 4th team in 4 years. Eagles, Colts, Washington, now Kansas City. There's a reason why a former first-round pick, a former MVP candidate, is on his 4th team in 4 years as a quarterback.
But they said I remember going into the draft, him and Goff. Like, I remember that year where they were like, that was kind of like the weakest year with quarterbacks. To be completely honest, it was like Goff won't that good, Wentz won't that good, but at 1 and 2, that was who we had. It was like if they would have took Wentz, we had Goff. They took Goff, we went Wentz. So AFC North is the toughest division in football. Hold on, let's break this down real fast, real quick. I like the North for AFC and NFC. AFC West stepped up big time because you got Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers.
But the Raiders don't have a quarterback. I don't believe in Aiden O'Connell.
No, they do got a quarterback. It's hold on. Las Vegas.
Oh, they did get somebody.
Roster.
Nobody I'm really like the Broncos, bro.
Is it Gardner? No, they draft somebody. Hold on. I know they picked up Gardner. They picked up Minshew.
Hold up. I'm about to look it up right now.
I'm looking at it now. They got Carter Bradley.
Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
That's it? Really?
Yeah. I knew I wasn't tripping. Bro, at first I thought I was tripping. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I knew they picked up Minshew, but I felt like they grabbed somebody else too.
Bro,
that's crazy. I like Minshew though. I mean, we talked about this before. I like Minshew personally. So I think Minshew was a step up from the shit they was going through last year. Shit.
Yeah. I'll put it to you like this. If the
they picked up Madison. I thought he was still with
Nah, they picked him up.
I like that.
I want to say
because they pretty much traded. Didn't they pretty much trade running backs? No, he's with Green Bay. No. I'm thinking of Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is in Green Bay now.
I put it to you like this.
I didn't know they had Madison. That's fire.
Unless Drake May can do something unbelievable, or Jacoby Brisket can I don't know, maybe spark another run in his late career. Unless one of them two quarterbacks can do anything for the Patriots, the AFC East is not going to be challenging for that crown anytime soon.
I think that's the Jets. If we got a healthy Rodgers they added Tyron Smith on the O-line, which is major for them because that was the whole thing.
If healthy.
Yeah. Because that was major for them because it was about protecting Rodgers, and Tyron Smith is who you go and get. He was a free agent. That was the biggest free agent on the O-line to go get.
You know what was craziest about them getting Smith? It wasn't that they got him and that Dallas let him go or the money that they're paying him. It was the fact that they could have got his old left tackle from Green Bay, Bakhtiari, and they chose to go in a different direction. That, to me, my opinion here, that to me was the craziest part about them signing Tyron Smith was Bakhtiari was out there and him and Rodgers have that relationship and they went in a different direction.
Because they went with the better. I think instead of it going with who Rodgers is used to, who Rodgers knows in Green Bay, that's cool and all, but who's the better fit?
Right.
And Tyron Smith is clearly the better fit. So it's like I said, I like that. And honestly, it really is Miami's division to lose. It's not even the Jets to win. It's Miami's to lose. I think the Bills have become the third best in that division, and then which is crazy to say because the Bills, I think losing Stephon Diggs is going to be huge for them, but them picking up what's his name? Cleon, is it Cleon?
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, thank you, not Cleon. Keon. Them picking up Keon Coleman, boy, if you gonna replace Stephon Diggs, that's who the fuck you replace Stephon Diggs.
Isn't with a big body receiver who can
rookie or not? Yeah, rookie or not, he's a dog.
Yeah,
I still got them third, but you never know what'll happen. I always say the first 8 weeks of a test, and them last 8 weeks tell you what you need to know.
I really think Buffalo may still be second in that division because I'm just not convinced with the Jets right now. I know Aaron Rodgers is pre-injury was thought to be a real game changer and difference maker for the Jets. We talking about a guy who's pushing 40, who's coming off an Achilles injury. Like, I just don't have the faith and confidence in somebody his age, even at that position where you don't need a whole ton of athleticism. But I was listening to a radio show and they were like, what is he going to look like on one of those play action bootlegs or one of those motion type of plays where you fake one way and then you go the other way, or you pivot and turn or what have you, just those simple little motions. Like, he doesn't have to be like a Lamar Jackson or even like a Joe Burrow or somebody like that. Somebody, who's sneaky athletic. But just a little bit of athleticism that you need from your quarterback, him trying to do those kind of things with that, healed up Achilles, that can be scary, especially at that age when he's not going to be able to come back close to 100% like he was before. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But there's a lot of stuff about football that we're going to be able to get into more and flesh out more as it gets closer. But one other thing I wanted to make sure we hit upon before we signed off here, Padres infielder, gosh, what was his name? I'm trying to pull up his name so that way.
I was just looking at it. I'm on.
Dang it, I had it pulled up and then I missed it. But he got banned for life.
Tecupita Marcano.
Yes,
Tecupita Marcano. I think that's how you say his first name.
This is where I screwed myself up at, because the story I had that came up on my screen before that was about Manny Machado. So I'm like, that's not the guy who got suspended.
Yeah, like definitely one Machado. That would have been. I mean, Marcano was big. Everything. Don't get me wrong, that was big, and that was talked about. But if it was Manny Machado, boy,
right, y'all $300 million man just got banned for life for gambling. That would have been bad. But it's the fact that he got banned for life and only won less than 5% of the bets that he made. We talking about this dude won one out of every 20 or so bets.
It was like 4.3% or something like that. I think that was like the actual numbers, but still, it was the point of, like, first off, baseball, you don't hear this too often. Like, Pete Rose was, I don't even know if he was the last one, but you saw how they treated Pete Rose. That man's still trying to get in, and I think he deserves to get in the Hall of Fame personally. Like, I think Pete has done a lot to rectify and correct, and like, it's a travesty Pete still ain't in. Like, regardless of whatever, like, Pete definitely should be in. But it's crazy how you're saying with these NBA players, NFL players, y'all ain't smart. Y'all ain't got no peoples. Y'all can just have them place the fucking bet. You don't trust them.
Right.
You ain't got nobody around you that you trust, that you know how to move the money. That's the one thing too, is being just like, I personally, I'm gonna be honest. I think Shohei Ohtani had something to do with the whole gambling thing with his interpreter. But he just ain't moved the money correctly. So it made it, I mean, his interpreter took the L, as he should. I mean, what do we always say? You gotta protect the money. At the end of the day,
the money.
You ain't going to jail for it, so it's cool. You might be banned from baseball, like you can't work with nobody in baseball, but you can still work with Shohei somehow, whatever, under the table, off the books, whatever. Like,
come on,
you know what I mean? Like, that's you always got to protect the money. So I feel like you gotta have them people, the fall guys. You got to figure out how to move the money where it doesn't look, suspicious. Have them place the bets for you.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, it's not, like
we're not about to sit up here and judge you for gambling and placing bets and whatnot, because it's a natural thing. People are going to want to do it, but just be smart about it, knowing that you have the potential to make millions of dollars, most of y'all, and you throw it all away over a few thousands of dollars of bets that you place. Like, come on, man, you got to be smarter than that. Outside of that, in baseball, it's coming up to like they're approaching like that third, almost midway point of the season, kind of, sort of. It's still way too early in the race to say what we got going on, but it's interesting seeing the Yankees jump out to another really fast start because they do this every year.
Here you go.
Bro, I'm just calling it like I see it. Does your team does not your team start out like this every year and then fizzle at the end?
I mean, you ain't wrong, but I'm just
Thank you. I'm just saying. It's just like I tell the guys that backstage brawl all the time. We always go back and forth about Yankees and Astros and stuff. And I'm like, bro, this is cool. This is great. Y'all do this every year.
Yankees, they just won today, 9-5.
Exactly.
They beat the Twins. 44-19 right now. Playing amazing ball. Like you said, fast start. Garrett Cole looking good.
Into September and October.
Aaron Judge is looking amazing.
April through July, August, they be on fire. September, October come around, it's like, ooh, like they run out of gas or something. I don't know.
Something about this team though that is different.
Well,
I think it's adding Juan Soto. I really think Juan Soto is adding something to this team that is. You don't think so?
And we talked about that when Juan Soto beat up on my Astros that first series of the year. We talked about this and we said he was going to have to be their difference maker.
And he has been so far.
You said it before I could. You, as a Yankee fan, you pointed that out yourself. The thing that I pointed out was, I hope Judge and more importantly Stanton can stay healthy, and the pitching staff too can stay healthy all year. And they already got injuries to the pitching staff and whatnot, but they're still maintaining because of that lineup. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? They still getting it done regardless of the injuries that they have. I just want to see, can they keep it going, you know, throughout the year.
And we still got time where like making trades, picking up, you know, key players here or there in the free agency and releasing who we need to, moving people up and down through AAA and AA. So, you know what I mean? It's the one thing that baseball does very well is with their farm systems and just in general is being able to move players where they need to move them. You see a player struggling, send his ass down, let him get hot down in AAA or AA, bring his ass back up. That's the beauty that I wish other sports had, like especially basketball. I really wish basketball had a better farm system in a sense. Like they need to work on the G League a little better, but being able to move players around like that, like you got a player that's hot in the G League, bring his ass up real quick.
Well,
that's ship his ass down.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing with the G League that I kind of learned. In order to do that, you have to have a player on a two-way contract where you can swap his salary up and down G League to main roster.
That's the only thing, because once you've been in the league for like what is it, 4 years, you can't move them up, and you can't even.
It's something like that
because of their bird rights or something like that. I think
they changed the laws after the pandemic to make it more fluid, just like NFL did with the practice squad. I want to say, but I want to say it may have lowered it to like 3 or 4 years or something, or 5 or it's something like that.
It was somewhere around there where like once
you
can't get moved anymore.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, like that's why people were wondering about why would Rich Paul come out and say that about Bronny? Like, well, because they don't want him to be bumped down to the G League for a significant period of time, and then he missing out on his NBA checks.
Bronny should have kept his ass in college, yo. We ain't get to talk. I ain't really been able to talk about this I don't know if I did the week before last. Bronny should have kept his ass in college, bro. Bronny ain't that good for real.
We talked about it a little bit, but we didn't really like flesh it out. But I think when we like really dig into the NBA draft and we really look into it more, there's a theory that I have, and it goes along with a lot of other younger players in similar situations. It just also applies to him, who just so happens to be, of this famous father. But there's something to be said about guys who look like they should go back to school who still stay out, especially in the NBA. They do it too in football, not as much. In baseball, it's done for sure, because in baseball, if you go to college, you got to stay there 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you get drafted and decide to go pro, you just go pro. It depends on when you get called up. Same thing like with NBA, you have to be a year removed from your high school graduation. They don't say you have to go to the NCAA for a year. They just say a year removed from your high school graduation.
Yep.
So that's how some guys will go to Europe or whatever and get around that loophole. When it comes to getting drafted, though, to me, it's like, and then the fluctuation of the rosters and stuff, I think baseball has it right simply because once you get drafted, you're on an MLB contract and you get whatever that contract is. And then, like, depending on where you go from there after that contract is up, then of course whatever, because there's some guys who are barely scraping by in the minor leagues, and there's some guys who's doing really good for themselves. It just depends. But more often than not, they're struggling. But I just feel like baseball definitely has it right as far as the player moving up and down is concerned. Basketball does need to do something with it. But when you think about it, there's only 15 roster spots in the NBA, whereas in Major League Baseball, there's 25 or 26 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's close. It's somewhere around the 25, between 25 and 30. And I think there's like a 40-man roster, including like some of your minor leaguers that you can move up and down more easily. So there's more roster spots in baseball too, whereas in basketball, it's not that many. So that's why I think they have to do something with it, because with just that 12 to 15 guys on your NBA roster and you don't have as much, flexibility to stash guys and move them around, it does get to be a little bit more difficult. But at the same time, this is where your front office skills come into play at. You have to fill those roster spots, especially because they have guaranteed contracts. You have to fill those roster spots with guys you feel like you can use in your program moving forward. One other thing real quick, we had some boxing and some UFC over the weekend.
And a little bit of soccer. We gonna get to that one though. But
I was trying to say real quick, Deontay Wilder needs to fucking retire.
I was just about to say that, man. I'm with his mama.
He gotta go, bro. He gotta go.
I'm with his mama. It's time for bro to just hang it up, dog.
Go home, be a family man.
Big Asian nigga fucked him up. Now, on the other side, when I'm looking at the knockout, because it really wasn't a knockout for real. Like, he was silly, but it was silly because it was that whole like Floyd Mayweather thing where it's like, keep your hands up because that nigga ain't gonna stop swinging. Yes. That's what it was. Like, he got caught with the first one, and I don't think the first one stunned him. He really, if you watch it back, he really was trying to say something to the ref when the Asian dude came in and caught him kind of like in the back of the head a little bit. It was weird. Like, that first one did not stun him the way everybody kept saying. He literally was turned and was saying something to the ref, but that was also his fault because until the ref steps in, you gotta keep your hands up. You know what I mean? Like, and he got caught. So
they teach you two things: protect yourself at all times and keep your head on the swivel.
I'm gonna be honest. This is Anthony Joshua's time to get them titles because Fury went down, even though he about to get a rematch in December. From what I saw, him and Usyk are gonna run it back.
Yeah,
Deontay's done. Big Asian nigga about to come up. Old boy from Australia got a title. His is a lower title, but he still got one. This is kind of AJ's time right now, for real. Like, he probably gonna have to sit. Now he gonna have to sit longer and wait for the winner of Usyk and Fury. But if I'm him, go ahead and you done already beat the Australian dude just to get a title. Go and take his. While in the meantime, to keep your hands and stuff, you know what I mean,
Like
where you
Big
need to
Bang
be.
Zane.
Yeah, go
He needs
and
to go
then
ahead and fight Big Bang Zane while he waiting on
I think both of those fights gotta happen. But it's crazy because this is June. Like you'll get one of them in. I think you get one of them in if you schedule it right, or you could be on that card with Fury and Usyk. You get one of those fights in there, either the one with the Australian guy for the belt or Big Bang, or you fight the Australian dude, then you and Big Bang go at it, and whoever wins that fights the winner of Fury and Usyk. It's a couple different ways it can be done, but
and in the meantime, you got guys like Big Baby Anderson, and there's another young kid here in the U.S., another heavyweight outside of Big Baby Anderson. I can't remember the other kid's name, but you got 2 more U.S. heavyweights coming up under the ranks. So the fight game is going to be real interesting, and we still waiting to see what guys like Devin Haney and
I'm about to say the smaller guys.
And
I forgot all about this heavyweight card because of the UFC card. So like I was focused on watching that until I seen everybody online talking about Deontay got knocked out. I was like, hold on, that was tonight.
I forgot the fight was coming on, and I ended up
the UFC one was coming up.
And barely, like, bro, like I kid you not, I missed I think I caught it like right as he was getting knocked out or something when I ended up turning. It was something weird like that where I caught the knockout or like right at the end or something like that. But then I'm watching UFC and I'm watching like the prelims, and it was a really good card because you had some bangers and you had some people that was busted up on the prelims and stuff. But then when you get to the main card, and I seen Mashkaev and Poirier fighting, and Islam was tearing Poirier up at first, and I'm like, "Oh man, I hope he don't end this fight quick."
That card, that was another
Poirier came back and busted Mashkaev, busted Islam face open.
That was another UFC card where the undercard just didn't live up, but the main event held its own. The only other fight that was good was
Kevin Holland.
Boy, breaking that man's arm.
Bro,
did you watch the post presser?
No, I missed it. It.
Holland saying that he said because they were asking him questions. They were like, "Did you know that it broke?" He was like, "I broke it." He's like, "I didn't know it broke." He said, "I heard that first pop," but he said even with the pop, I wasn't about to let go just because it popped. He was like, "Shit, we here now," and he held on. He heard the second pop, but he didn't know that it was a break. He said that was when he felt them tap. But he said he could tell, like, after that first pop, like, either, like, and then bro didn't tap after that first pop. He said he knew I was in for a long one, and I was going to have to break it. He said, I just didn't know I actually broke it. But that's how you know a nigga tough. Like, when you got them in a joint and they pop it, it dislocates. They're like, all right, cool. They still not tapping.
Bro,
so you turn it even more, and then that break. You can see how like it was.
You like when you look at the slow-mo replay. If you pay attention enough, you can see like his arm. You know, but the thing that was crazy to me, it wasn't in that moment or anything like that, bro. It's like after the fight, while the adrenaline is still kicking in, but the swelling has started. Dude is still sitting there pissed off, mad. Arm draping at his side. He's still pissed that they stopped the fight. Like that threw me all the way off. And I'm like, between him getting his arm broke and being mad that the ref stopped the fight, and then Islam beating up Poirier, then getting beaten up by Poirier, then coming back and submitting him with like 20 seconds left in the fight. Like, bro, and you had some other good fights on that undercard and stuff, man. It was a really good day of combat sports, is what I'll say.
It definitely was.
Honest, it was topped all off by Real Madrid winning, what is it, their 15th. They're 15th overall, but it's their 6 out of the last 11 or something like that. Y'all was saying?
6 out of 11, 15 overall. First one in London.
Tony Cruz retired on top.
Yeah. Best way to go out on top.
And then on top of all of that winning that they did,
on Sunday, Monday,
they went and got Mbappe.
Which we knew was coming. We were just waiting for the official word,
It was just
of course.
officially official.
Bruh. Not just that, but me and Ahan have been talking about this the last couple of days. They're still working on Alphonso Davies, where it looked like Davies was staying with
Bruh, let me try to find it.
But it looked like he was staying with the team that he's with, and now they're saying that talks with Davies is not out. They still got players that they were looking at bringing in in 2025's transfer window. Their entire starting lineup is now black.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
They're looking at the next 5 to 10 years still being dominant. Because if they're able to find a way financially to keep everybody together, their oldest two players right now are 25. Counting, I looked at the lineup. I forgot who it was. It was Mbappe and somebody else. Or 25 as of right now.
It was a few weeks ago when you were first telling me about it, and you was like, bro, if they pull this off, which it looks like they will, they're going to have a crazy good team for a long time. And I was like, let me look this up.
Ahan sent it to me, actually.
And
let me scroll.
Bro, their core of their team and their best players are between the ages of 17 and 25.
Yes. So you have two players that are 25. Your youngest is 17. By the time the season starts, a couple birthdays have went by. So you still looking at everybody going up a year. 26 is still the oldest on your team, and the youngest will be 18. And that also is your starting lineup also for the next, as of right now, because again, we still don't, if Alphonso Davies comes in, that's the struggle I think he's having is, do I go to the juggernaut where I know we're going to win and possibly be in the starting lineup or on the bench, or do I stay with Bayern Munich where I'm a solidified starter and I know I don't have to fight for a spot? That's the thing when you like with a Real Madrid, they are stacked from top to bottom.
Yes.
But Cruz leaving, actually you're able to shift the lineup properly because right now they have players kind of out of place. Like I do this on FIFA a lot because when you bring in a lot of really good players in the transfer, a lot of times players are playing out of position because you just want them on the field because you got to have them. So you'll have people playing in positions they normally don't play in, which is kind of how Real did this year. That worked. But next year, with Mbappe coming in and them having a true striker now, they're able to shift everybody back to where they need to be because Mbappe is there. Because Bellingham really was their striker this year, and he's not actually a striker. So now you're able to move him back to the midfield where he needs to be.
See, that's what I was getting ready to ask you because, like, I know you'll have some forwards or strikers, and then like I know. Like I've seen some of them play midfield and they look like that's where they're supposed to play. And then I've seen some where they look kind of awkward. Like they don't know what to do in all of that space.
Real Madrid really ran a positionless lineup this year. You had some people that were where they're supposed to be, but the majority weren't. So bringing in Mbappe and having that true striker position covered now, now you're able to again shift everybody where they need to be in their true positions. Even bringing in Davies if they're able to, because Davies is a starter. He's not off the bench. But their lineups are going to be so crazy because it's going to be some nights you don't have to, and they did that this year. You do not have to start everybody every game.
Yeah.
You can use the stronger guys for the stronger games.
Certain games.
And you might be able to give up a weaker game using a different lineup, but they're probably not going to have a weak lineup this year.
It's a matchup based thing, and I love that
matchup nightmare.
In that you can change it from game to game and really mess with the other teams and stuff. And that's
it's definitely all in how their coach is going to how he's going to maneuver with them.
Yeah, that's going to be wild to see, man. And I'm really looking forward to that. don't even like it. It's almost like, you know how sometimes you'll say, "Oh, this is like when KD went to the Warriors," or "This is like this." No, this is basically they were putting together like the dream team.
Yeah, this ain't KD. To me, it's not KD to the Warriors because
it's for a club team.
Yeah, like it's not KD to the Warriors because that was worse. KD lost to them niggas and then was like, "Nah, I'm gonna just come join y'all."
Exactly.
Like Mbappe didn't lose to them. Like,
right?
You know, like these are two different countries. You know what I mean? Two different leagues. You're going from the Premier League to La Liga. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're playing in the same league as your former team at all. Like you're playing in the same division and conference when it came to KD. Like this is totally separate. Like if they end up playing each other, it's because somebody decided to schedule this because they were like, "Nah, this is money." Like let's put this
it'll
together.
Be a friendly, and that's about
it. At most, it's a friendly.
That's about it,
and that's it.
Yeah,
so
I'm just looking forward to seeing what they do with that team and how that lineup will change from match to match. That's gonna be really interesting to see. I ain't gonna lie, bro. As far as this week is concerned, I have no rant.
I ain't got one either.
I don't even feel like being mad, right?
I mean, I kind of got through. I kind of got mine off in the WNBA talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Deontay Wilder. That was a little rant, but
yeah, that
I'm
was.
Trying to think. Everything else has been good.
We
don't talk wrestling too much. Yeah, like we won't talk wrestling too much, but wrestling has been pretty dope.
Yeah,
we're coming up on some dope pay-per-views coming up on both sides for AEW and WWE.
If I had a rant, I ain't even gonna be a rant. It's just more of a statement. Free Ricky Starks. That's all I gotta say. I don't give a fuck if y'all let him go to WWE. I don't care if y'all put him on TV for the next 10 weeks in a row.
And that's my thing. And from the statement I seen Tony make the other day, he's like, "I love Ricky, you know, da-da-da." I'm like, "All right, cool. You love him. Use him. Ricky is a star.
Bro, fucking
he's a star. And he became a star in your company.
Bro,
use
that's
him.
Why when I say free Ricky, I don't mean let him go to WWE. I just mean just
math means
do something with this nigga, man. Like put him on TV. Do something. But that's all I got, man.
I ain't got too much.
We
back next week.
We appreciate all like 200 of y'all rocking with
us.
I
did.
God
did.
This
is perfect for this week.
Bro,
that's crazy. This is perfect. You know, Bam and them got a house. God did.
Look,
I've had a great week. God did. God really did.
Look, it's been some stuff moving around that I didn't even think was gonna happen, and it happened. There's some stuff that's cooking that could potentially happen.
Yeah, man. I'm working on a lot for this pod, man. Like,
you know, and
on the back end, a lot.
I got remind me to revisit that guest list again.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do something next week.
I've been talking to people, but I gotta start like communicating ahead of time and start lining some people up and stuff, man, because it's a bunch of dope people that I talk to that's willing to do it. I just gotta line it up and figure it the fuck out and get them on.
I definitely have a few. I got a few that I really want to bring on more football wise.
Yeah.
The homie Loso.
I
definitely Loso. You and Loso, I'm gonna just sit back and let y'all because y'all talk so similar.
We did it a couple of times in the space and had
he's a big X's and O's, like not I'll say numbers, but he's really X's and O's. He don't really do the barbershop talk like he's similar to you. Like he's real, and even though he's a Dallas fan, but he's one of them rare just like with Fam and also with Mika, is one of them rare Dallas fans I can talk to and tolerate. Like we
Right,
talk football,
right,
it's
right.
non-biased. So Loso's definitely one.
That's like Dre on
My man
T-Mac, my
Santana.
homeboy that drive trucks. The other Dre, another Cowboy fan that I could talk to.
Yeah, my
There's
man
not that
Santana.
many of them.
My dog Santana's another one. He's a good person to talk to when it comes to like sports in general. Me and him were talking, and I was like, I'm gonna definitely work you in at some point on the show. Pause.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for sure. We got some dope people, man, lined up.
Got to bring Fam back closer to football so that way I can
Definitely
argue with him
gotta
on
bring him
camera.
I'm gonna try to get this
Even
other
Mika.
one
I definitely want to get Mika in when it comes to football. A lot of people don't realize, bro. Sis talks wrestling fluently and very well, but her football talk,
she know
and
her
even
shit.
getting her man's on. That's a Philly
She
fan like
knows
myself.
her shit.
He knows ball, like she knows ball for real. So I definitely want to
Yeah.
get Sis on to talk during the season and like that season preview, probably like 4 or 5 weeks prior to the season start, have like some good guests on talking football. So because at that point we ain't really got nothing but football. College football
It was
starting.
crazy that you said that and brought that up about bringing some females in to talk football. I can't even remember.
I love when women can talk ball, whether it's basketball, football. Me and you were talking about old girl chewing up Stephen A. Like, bro, I love when the woman can hold
Monica McNutt ate that fool up, bro. I was
because he's stupid, bro. I'll say this, and if I ruin something in the future, my fucking bad. That nigga's stupid. He's stupid. And I'm starting to feel like that way about man. And I like Shay Shay, but Shay Shay say some stupid stuff too. It's shock value. They got to do it. I get it. It may not be how they really feel, but that's what I hear on TV and on the podcast. So that's what I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
They stupid, both of them. So
I can't remember what the hell it was we was talking about. Oh, here it goes.
I'm trying to think. That's
what it was. So I had wrote the Chiefs thing about what they should do with they 15 million in cap space. Send it to the kids, right? I let every time I write something, I try to send it to them. Bro, why my daughter text back and was like, "Hey, I just saw this video about the Cowboys cap space. How they ain't gonna be able to re-sign CD because he ain't gonna pay Micah, CD, and that."
Yeah, bring her on,
bro. Yeah. She been like this for since she was little.
It's cool. Tell her go in her room. Y'all ain't even gotta be in the same room. She could be upstairs. Tell her set it up. Yeah, tell her set it up. We gon'.
I told her, I was like, "Hey, you need to come on the pod one night." She was like, "Okay, just let me know." I'm like,
"Nah, bro. I was on with House and them last night on their podcast. I just popped in randomly. Like I was watching, and then I text the other host Jermaine. His name's Jermaine too. But I was just like, "Hey man, send me the link." He was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Just send me the link." And I just popped. Nobody knew but Jermaine. And then Sal was like, "Oh shit." And I popped up. He was like,
"Yeah."
He was looking like, "Oh, it's a ghost." I'm like, "Yeah."
Bro, it was.
But
it was one
Jermaine's
girl.
His girl was on there, and me and her were we're going at it a little about AEW, WWE. It was good though. Like she really was like she knew her shit.
Yeah.
So I like when women can talk sports, no matter what it is, and like really know what they talking about, not just what they hear from their man or the barbershop talk in a sense. Like they really know their shit. So we definitely go get some women on. I need to find some WNBA women fans that know they shit. I think I know a few.
I got a couple of homegirls I know for sure for basketball, but
I think I do too. And I might just put something out there. I'm gonna just make a post one. No, it's too late at night now. I'm gonna make it tomorrow though. I'm gonna leave myself a reminder and make it tomorrow.
I don't want to shoot my homegirl a message on Instagram or something in case her dude like, "Hey bro, look, we went to school together. You got it, dog. It ain't nothing over here like that. Like we just know each other from school and some mutual friends.
This business, big dog. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing else."
Yeah, man. Like people be weird about that shit. And I'm like, I gotta be careful, even though I'm single. you know, it's just like I still don't want nobody to feel no type of way just because I have friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I got some homegirls that done held me down through some rough shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for them. And a lot of them guided me into and out of some crazy shit. Like guided me away from some situations that could have fucked me up and put me into some positions that got me back right. So, but anyway, man, that's life and that's the way it is. This is episode 34 presented by Gel Blasters, Susio Sports. We would like to thank all the other sponsors on the network for the other
There's
pods,
way
just
too many
Chill
to
Boys, Dre Lax, Four Corners of Commentary, a different angle, and Aim High. Luck Belair, 710 Labs, Grow Grain Inc., Dr. Dabber, all of them.
Plethora.
All of them.
Literally. Plethora.
For the whole CDB multimedia gang, for my brother Keyz, for the fam, everybody gang that's watching, appreciate y'all.
As always.
We will holler at y'all next week. Peace.